Someone wasn't paying attention. Feminism is a bourgeois weapon, a leftist rebuttal. The claim that women's progress came at the expense of men misunderstands the core issue. Feminism, as institutionalized in the West, was never about liberation. It was about managing labor and dividing the working class. The idea that women's gains were won purely through grassroots effort ignores the deliberate funding and manipulation of feminism by capitalist elites to serve their interests. Feminist movements were funded by capitalist elites. The Ford and Rockefeller foundations didn't support women's liberation out of altruism, they did it to expand the labor pool and depress wages. In the 1970s, as fears of overpopulation grew, Western institutions pushed population control in the global South under the guise of family planning, often coercing sterilization of poor and non-white women. When feminists at the 1974 Bucharest Conference resisted this neo-Malthusian agenda, it wasn't because they opposed capitalism, it was because they demanded reproductive autonomy within the existing system. Meanwhile, corporate feminism, lean-in, girl boss, culture was promoted to justify the dismantling of the family wage, forcing women into precarious work while pretending it was empowerment. The result, a doubled workforce competing for stagnant wages, with women still bearing the unpaid labor of childcare and domestic work. Feminism diverts attention from class struggle. Mainstream feminism focuses on individual advancement, more female CEOs, more women in the military rather than collective liberation. It celebrates breaking glass ceilings, while ignoring that most women remain trapped in low-wage service jobs. Jobs that exist because capitalism needs cheap, exploitable labor. The gender pay gap isn't solved by equal pay laws, it's exacerbated by the fact that care work, nursing, teaching, domestic labor is systematically devalued. Me Too exposed workplace harassment but failed to challenge the economic precarity that forces women to tolerate abuse to keep their jobs. Feminism, as it exists today, does not threaten capitalism. It reinforces it by framing oppression as a matter of individual bias rather than systemic exploitation.
The CIA's role in weaponizing feminism. During the Cold War, the CIA promoted feminist rhetoric to undermine leftist movements abroad. In countries like Afghanistan, feminist NGOs were used as soft power tools to justify imperialist intervention. Domestically, feminist discourse was co-opted to break working-class solidarity, pitting men and women against each other rather than uniting them against bosses. This isn't a conspiracy theory, it's documented history. The ruling class always funds movements that destabilize collective resistance. Intersectionality without gynocentrism. The alternative. The solution isn't to reject feminism's valid critiques but to subordinate them to class analysis. True intersectionality must center material conditions, not identity politics. A black working-class woman's oppression isn't just about race plus gender, it's about how capitalism uses both to super-exploit her labor. Reject goification. Western-funded feminist NGOs, like microcredit schemes, don't liberate women, they tether them to debt and austerity. Fight for universal care infrastructure, free childcare, healthcare, and housing. Lift all workers. Unlike corporate feminism's focus on elite women, leaning in. Solidarity over division. The choice isn't between feminism or patriarchy, it's between class war or gender war. The ruling class wins when workers fight over crumbs instead of seizing the bakery. As black feminists like the Combahee River Collective argued, our liberation must be collective or it will be false. The task ahead isn't to whine about men's struggles, it's to build a movement that abolishes the system screwing us all. No more bourgeois feminism. No more divide and rule tactics. Workers of all genders, unite.